But I just kind of wanted to let you know where I'm coming from because this DongleGate thing is fucking crazy, right? Um, so I'm sure anyone watching this video knows that down in PyCon in Santa Cruz, so another Bay Area event, we were treated to some phone stalking from an activist called Adria Richards. So there is a new, because of the ADA initiative, RadFem initiative taken by the Geek Feminists, all of these tech conferences are, they're all saying, why aren't there more women? And then the Geek Feminist came and said, the reason there's not more women is because of X, Y, and Z. So they, I don't know, the five of them, I don't know, it's there 100 of them, but anyway, this group came and the conferences took their prescriptions over without consulting anybody else in the conference because everybody wants to be a good feminist, right? But anyway, so they declared that any talk of sexual language is banned from all conferences, basically, right? And so they said, oh, well, our code of conduct is, you can amend it, but it was right in their sample, which said no sexual imagery unless it's a conference about sex, right? So basically they want this ghettoization of sex-positive culture. They think that's the only way to stop harassment and rape or just kind of an ignorance, male ignorance at work. It's like, who says so? This is Dworkin, this is McKinnon, and nobody's even looking at it. We just got the constitutions of all of our public spaces changed in a backroom deal with Valerie Aurora, who seems to be the one-woman ADA initiative. She's the queen who says what's moral and what's immoral. Because I think it's actually the other way. I think the more you can encourage sex-positive discussion, the more you can get the cultures to evolve a little bit. It's the repression versus non-repression. So ADA initiative is on the side of the Victorians, it's on the side of the Puritans, repress it from all public sphere. So basically they want to lock in American sexual repression forever. They want to have it codified into the constitutions of all spaces. But anyway, so they got this code of conduct pushed through on them. You may remember the big freak out of Rebecca Watson about the amazing meeting not having her code of conduct, even though they had another one, right? And so then she made it into, oh, I'm being attacked. You got it again. So these like male rights terrorists, right? So you've got these male rights Twitter terrorists get involved and start sending these threats, and then that's used at Rebecca Watson in this case, and then that's used as oh, well, this shows she was right, because she got these terrorists, these fucking male supremacist terrorists get involved on Twitter. Maybe they're 4chaners, I don't know, but basically it means that every argument goes to the feminist side because these fucking male terrorists are going in and sending Twitter threats and all of this shit. And they hold that up and say, look, I'm a martyr. Anyway, so Rebecca Watson had her freak out because TAM wouldn't concede to her demands, her personal demands, even though they had a code of conduct. And it'd be interesting to see what hers was, I bet. Fuck, why did it get so dark? So I bet her code of conduct was the geek feminism one, but let's see. And it's basically saying, so you should never talk about sex at a tech conference. And not even sex, sexual. So we're talking about penises here, right? So the joke that caused DongleGate, it turns out there are two guys, they're talking about a piece of hardware, a robot, whatever, and they were making it male, so they said it had a dongle and a big dongle. All right, so that's what set this neo-feminist activist off, this photo stalker. So So she freaked out, and then they said something that wasn't sexually related, which was, I'd like to fork that guy's repo, right? And so she's in her little mind space, and she says, oh, another sexual joke. And then, oh, this is she said it, a young girl came on, and this is for all women, I strike a blow. And she took her Twitter and non-consensually took a photo. She stalked these guys and then wrote about the sexual forking joke and the dongle joke. And this is why the world's not safe, or why tech is not safe for women. I was like, wow. And they're all like, oh, see, we're right. Look at our code of conduct, which just happens to be taken from the Geek Feminism, the RadFem site. So all these conferences have RadFem light, Puritan code of conduct now. So, but, one thing is then in the media, it all gets played. So she was totally in the wrong. Then the guy got fired, she got fired. I'm not going into all of that. Horrible, male supremacist terrorists got involved in the end, like they do every time, and gave her ammunition to make herself into a martyr. Thanks, guys. So, guys, we have to be able to talk. Yeah, okay. So that's why I went into that gender thing in the beginning. I don't have this manly man thing, but I do have a penis, right? And have we had a code of conduct that a part of my body is now off limits in all public venues to talk about the taboo about the penis? It's like, oh my God, they gave their machine a penis. Oh, I'm being oppressed. Their thing is male gendered. Because where this leads to. This is the same logic of why women can't breastfeed. Right, it's like, oh, the breast, it's so sexual, get it out of the public sphere. This is exactly what they're doing. It's like, oh, bodily anatomy. That's not a sexist joke. Giving a gender to your robot is not a sexist joke, and it's not even a sexual. The penis is not necessarily sexual, people, just like the breast is not necessarily sexual, and the vagina is not sexual. What I imagine happening in the future is two misogynist gay men will be at one of these things, and two women will be talking about something related to their vaginas. Whatever, you're friends, you're at a conference, you're relaxing, there's something to do with the vagina, and he'll snap a photo and say, oh, I'm being sexually harassed, these women are making sexualized references to their vaginas, and, that's exactly what you're fucking setting this up for. Breasts, no breastfeeding, the body is evil, we have to keep all nudity, and they're also keeping all nudity out, right? So they're basically saying, Bay Area, we don't like your sex positivity, it's bad for women, you're part of rape culture, and now there's a kind of feminist elders, let's call them. Let's not call it a tribunal, but, they get called in. So B-Sides eunuchs that called Valerie Aurora in to see if it was okay, their schedule, rather than consulting with the members, democratically, with the people who go to their fucking conferences. They're like, oh, we're just men. We're not able to judge if we're sexist. Here, Ada Initiative, come and tell us, are we sexist? And she says, yes, you are. And you've got to get rid of that talk from Violet Blue, the feminist sex positive writer in San Francisco. So the women's organization came in and they got their rival woman activist kicked off of the fucking schedule. It's like, oh, great. You guys who run B-Sides, you guys who run PyCon, you have internalized androphobia. You have bought the line that you're evil. I'm sorry. I'm not, again, I am not even male identified. I'm fucking genderqueer. But in a way, it almost takes us, or it takes someone like Scala. It takes people who've been projected upon as women, who've seen what that looks like, in order to turn around and say, yeah, you guys, this isn't good, what's going on. This isn't good what you're doing, turning male gender into the gender which must be crucified and which must pay for the sins of humanity. You're doing this to yourself. Bye-bye.